when the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality. Open up those pages, it's sci-fi or fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your friends, so join the book club by DLC.
Hello there, book clubbers. Hope you're dancing. Oh, I felt good to dance this morning. I need a little movement in my morning. I'm Jeff Kanata. I'm here with Lana Bashinsky. Hello, Lana.
Hello, good morning. That dance, I gotta work it out. Thursday mornings, it's the best way to get amped for the day. You're waking up, you're feeling groggy. Not only are you getting to use your body, stretch it out, but then you get to use your brain and talk about some sick book.
I hope that, you don't just sit there watching us dance. I hope you actually move. That's what we're trying to encourage. And I hope you're actually reading, because this book's getting interesting. We are doing chapters 14 through 20 of Shadow of the Torturer by Glenn Cook. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started. That feels like the book has shifted gears, shifted modes. We've kind of like moved into a new tone. We'll get into all of that shortly. Speaking of short, we like to start the show with a non-spoiler topic. We love it when you send those in, ladies and gentlemen, to dlcfeedback@gmail.com. If you have any questions you'd like us to tackle about books, about reading, about anything in our lives, anything that strikes your fancy that you think would make for a fun non-spoiler topic, send it to us, dlcfeedback@gmail.com. We had one, Lana was well, why don't you bring it up?
Tee it up.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about is this book shifted into a new mode, and our history with the Malazan books, and it's talking with Stephen about how each chapter is written sort of as its own little contained story. We've sort of talked around a lot of short stories, but I don't know if I've ever talked with you directly about your experience with short stories. There are a lot of amazing short story anthologies, little short stories that are out in the world. Are you a short story seeker outer, enjoyer? Have you ever read a short story that stuck to you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's such an interesting topic because, like you said, Stephen talked about tackling Malazan like he was writing the world's largest short story, which I thought was such an interesting framing. And I used to, when I was younger, I loved short stories. I used to get science fiction short story anthologies and horror short story anthologies. I mean, I read, in my Stephen King phase, I loved reading, Skeleton Crew and what were the other one? He had like 3 short story collection books that I remember my sister and I on special occasions would get to put up a tent in our backyard, in the grass in our backyard, and sleep out in the tent in the backyard, which, as a kid, I thought, wow, it was like my birthday, I'd get to do that or something. You'd think, what a treat for us. And I realize now as an adult, it was a treat for my parents. But when we would sleep in the tent outside with flashlights, I would read these Stephen King short stories out loud to my sister, and we'd get all scared in the tent. It was the greatest. But these days, Lana Bashinsky, I really don't. And I wonder why. I honestly don't know why I avoid them now. Because I used to love them, and I used to read all these science fiction short stories. I loved them. Like I had a subscription to this, what was it called? The Science Fiction and Fantasy. I mean, I might have said book club, but it was like a online thing, almost like, do you remember when you used to, maybe you're too young to remember this, but remember there used to be the give us $1 and we'll send you 11 CDs, and then you'll be in the CD of the month club,
Yeah.
I had that, but for science fiction and fantasy books. And so it was like, $1 gets you 12 books, and then 1 book a month for a year, for $14 or whatever. And so I signed up for that, and many of them were these anthologies, and I loved them. But I just don't do that anymore. I just exclusively read more long form stuff.
I think it's because
don't know
the
why.
act of finding the book in the first place, you're so choosy. If you're reading short stories, you'd be dealing with that anxiety every day, basically.
I just got there's a secondhand bookstore near my house that it's pretty rad. It's big. And they do a promotion every now and again where they'll do a penny a page books. So if it's like 700-page book, it's $7. It's pretty rad. And last time I was there, I picked up a Janny Wirtz because I'm so curious about Janny Wirtz because AP Canavan talks about Janny Wirtz, and I know that's like a big people associate her with Erickson in equivalent levels of sort of prose. Anyway, I was curious about her, and she has a short story compilation that I picked up, and I've only read the first one so far, and it's really good. Anyway, I've been talking a long time. Are you a short story connoisseur?
I would never. No, definitely not. But I might come surprised to no one. I don't have a great memory. So I feel like I have read a ton of short stories that have really stuck to me, but I couldn't tell you who wrote them. I couldn't tell you. I could tell you I read a whole bunch in university because I had to read them through classes. I had a science fiction and fantasy class that I took where we read a bunch of short stories, and I would read them around, like going to Borders, the rest in peace, that going to the store and just reading little short stories in there because I could get away with. I can't sit there all day and read like long novels, but I could read a little short story and be like interesting on my way to school, and just picking random things off the shelf and reading a chapter here and there, a short story. I love to do that, but I didn't retain any of that information. There's one short story that I want to say it was from Stephen King, but maybe it was just so it has like such an eerie creepiness to it, and the writing in my mind felt like Stephen King's writing, that I think about actually fairly frequently. And I don't know why it pops into mind, but the short story is about a girl who's out with her friends maybe, or like works at a cafe, and a guy sees her in the cafe and is like, "I'm gonna get you." And she's like, "Weird." And then goes home, and then she gets a call on the phone, and he's just standing outside of her house talking to her on the phone, being like, it's time for you to come outside. It's time for you to get in the car. I told you I was going to get you, and now I'm here, and you have to come. And her sort of wrestling with that. And I remember it being so creepy and so like horrible in a way to read, but it really like very memorable, such that, I don't know, 20 years later, I'm still thinking about it. It's very cool. So I love a short story, especially the ones that really, they just hit. It is no nonsense. It is straight to what is great about it. Yeah. And because of that, I think that they end up being more memorable often than large books that have like all of the things that make the world full and alive and interesting, but it just sort of cuts to the heart of something intriguing. And so I think they'd be cool to dive into again, but I, like you, haven't really read one in a long time.
They get away with things because of their brevity. You know, the endings can be more enigmatic, or you know, they can leave stuff out in really, I think, interesting ways. But I don't know why. I don't know if it's that I feel like I'm revving myself up so much when I read a book, like that revving myself up for a brief experience that's just going to be over fast is something I'm now avoiding. I don't know what it is.
I think it's more reveling in something that there's like such a feeling of accomplishment to reading a big books, and living in something for a long time is a satisfying thing in its own way.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's all right to enjoy one more than the other.
I should read more short stories though. They're good. You know, the other thing is, I think we don't need to keep talking about this, but I think it plays into that psychosis that we've identified in me about where I have to like find the best thing. And short stories, it's like usually it's a potpourri of varying, you'll find a short story collection that's like by 12 different authors. And I'm like, well, 4 of them are fantastic and 3 of them are good. And there's kind of 2 stinkers. And, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's part of my own weirdness. I don't know going in.
You're like, what's the value proposition here?
That's right. Oh, so stupid. And yet I'm spending less time. I'm an idiot. Anyway.
If anybody has recommendations, short story lovers, I would love to know what short stories are out there. We're just waiting for Jeff and I to dig in.
Please tell us your favorite short stories or short story compilations collections. But we're going to dive into a longer story that we are in the middle of. Spoilers starting now for chapters 14 through 20 of Shadow of the Torturer. We start chapter 14 is entitled Terminus Est, the Sword. So Severian returns. This is as he's heading into his exile from the Torturers Guild. He returns to his master, Master Palemon. And Master Palemon gives Severian a gift. It is this sword that has Terminus Est written on it, and it's a very special sword. I love fantasy swords. I love fantasy weapons. I love the description of interesting, cool fantasy weapons. This one particularly cool, which sounds like such a massive executioner's swords. Basically made for beheadings. But it's got this clever little mechanism inside where it's got this groove down the center and some sort of heavy liquid. At least that's what I'm imagining in my head. That tips back so that it's easier to hold it up high because all the weight drops to the hilt, so you can hold it above the person you're about to murder or execute.
Like it's easy.
That's what you want to think about. You don't want to get executioner's tunnel syndrome. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing that's so, specific to their guild and makes it so interesting is like, it's in there. It's not a sword for fighting. This is a sword that shifts its balance. And so it'll throw you off. This is a sword for executing people, period. That's the start and end of it. That's what it's for. That's what it's designed to do.
Right.
But it's this massive, lethal, cool sword.
And it's cool how Severian describes, he's like, hey, give it a go. Give it a, swing it around, see what you think. And he's like, yeah, it's fighting with me, or I can't remember how he describes it, but it's something like, it has sentience. He's talking about it like it's not cooperating or whatever, however he puts it. It's wild. It's such a cool idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
It is. The other thing about it that's like it's a spooky, nasty sword. He hands over the sword and it's in its sheath of man skin.
Yeah.
Never
describe anything.
And he's
as
like,
man skin.
The leather is so soft. I'm like, it's human flesh.
Yeah, bro. We flayed it off. What are you gonna? We got all this flayed skin lying around. What are we gonna do with it? Let's make something.
Waste not, want not, baby.
That's right. Arts and crafts, baby. But yes, it also has a blunt tip, which I thought was interesting. Like you said, not for stabbing. It's got one purpose. Anyway, so he leaves with his new sword, and he passes through the necropolis.
Oh, and just before he leaves, the reason that Master Palemon gives him the sword is, and he's so hurt by the actions that Severian took, is he's like, you were the best of the best.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments where I'm like, well, he did give him this sword. Is this Severian aggrandizing himself, or is he really the best of the next generation? Since Master Gerlo's the best that he's seen.
Best torturer,
Now he's a betrayer. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Anyway, so he heads out of his comfort area into the grander city and the river Giol. And he's kind of walking around just looking at this wacky world. There's boats and rivers, and he reaches this bridge where there's all these vendors that are crowded on the bridge, and there's all this commotion.
He's walking for so long that it gets dark, and it's interesting because I feel like I'm constantly being like, this is a sci-fi book. This is a sci-fi book. Look out for the sci-fi things just to sort of ground me in it. And when it gets dark, it's like all you can see are these little lights. And he's beneath this bridge. You can't really see anything going up onto the bridge. It's lit by torches and torches and torches and torches that allows it to be lit up. And it's like a bustling place of activity. And many merchants are set up there, all these different market stalls along this giant bridge area.
Yeah. And among them are a couple of soldiers who walk up to them like, hey, you can't dress like that. Hey, buddy.
You looking too spooky.
Yeah. Not cool. Not cool to pretend to be a torturer. And he's like, oh, I'm not pretending. And they're like, what? Yeah. He's like, yeah. No. I'm an actual torturer, bro. And they're like, no. I don't. No. Come with me. Come with me.
They're like, Carnifex, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Carnifex, maybe, which I'm taking as like the word the ye old word for executioner.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that it feels like he's, one day's walking distance from where the Torturers Guild is. And everybody's like, you're lying. You couldn't possibly be a torturer. It's interesting about the oddness of their guild.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And everybody hates it. Nobody wants to see him. And, he's just strolling through town with this massive sword and a mask. And it's like, he's like, hey, no, not cool cosplay. Not cool. Everybody's creeped out by you. And he's like, no, I'm an actual torturer. And like, all right, wise guy. All right. We didn't want to have to do this, but you're coming to see the captain, and so they bring him into their supervisor's office, the captain, and the captain's like, all right, I buy it. I think, yep. Okay. You're an actual torturer. I get it.
I just love that he's like, he's got the captain and his little second, whoever that guy is, bring him in being like, this guy thinks he's a torturer. And he's like, yeah, I think he is too. And he's like, no way.
Looks
no
legit.
way. And he's like, oh yeah, what smells, pray tell, do you smell? And he's like, and he's like, just like blood and rusty iron and like all of the haunting smells coming over from the Medici Tower. Like he smells like a torturer is pretty gnarly description.
That's a pretty terrible way to be identified. It's like, did you sniff him? Idiot. It's like, no, we just brought him in. Sniff him then. It's like, oh yeah. Oh, that's a torturer. Yeah. That is, you got me. He smells like death.
Yeah. He's the guy in the room is still like, I don't think so. And he's like, why don't you prove to him that you're a torturer?
Yeah. He's like, all right.
I love that. I love that Severian, no questions asked, is like, okay, he's like so ready to follow an order, just be like honorable, be straightforward with everything. He did this one thing and now he's like paying this with this guilt and this penance of being shunted over to Thrax. But he immediately stabs the guy through the shoulder to pin him and then pinches the nerve that causes convulsions and is like,
He's like, this is some torturous shit right there, baby.
Pretty cool party trick.
What else do you want to know? Yeah, but before that, the captain's like, here's what you need to do, buddy. You got you got to be cool. Like nobody wants to see you. So like, man, get a disguise, bro. Just literally anything to dull the image of your terrifying costume.
Yeah. And they don't talk about the Philogene in this moment. They just talk about how freaky he looks. And then later they're like, oh yeah, it is the black, he's wearing that blacker than black coat. Yeah. And so walking in the night through this thing, you're like, people really don't like him just wearing like a black cloak. It's like, no. It's freaky black. He's looking like
black.
He's looking like a void floating around.
Staring into a black hole. Have you ever heard of Vanta Black?
Yeah.
Yeah. For folks that are listening and they don't know about Vanta Black, Google Vanta Black. We did a whole episode on my science podcast. We have concerns about Vanta Black, and it's fascinating. Somebody literally invented the blackest black, and then there's this whole fight about these two other dudes that invented the blackest black, and whose black is the blackest black. Anyway, it's really fascinating. So this color actually exists. Like it's a blacker than black, where literally light enters and does not leave. So that's what I'm imagining every time I hear about his color of his vestments. Anyway, so yeah, snaps or makes the poor soldier. And I like how there's like no consequences for him. He's like, you asked me to prove it. You just move right on. He's just out of there.
Does he come out of the convulsions eventually? Well, we must assume that he does, based upon how the torture works. Is the ability to
it's not murdering, it's torturing. I don't
know.
Anyway, so we ended kind of a cliffhanger on that chapter, but chapter 15 is called Baldanders, and which is a very funny name to me. Baldanders.
I agree.
So he gets directions from the captain to an inn where he's supposed to go, but he's like, it's hilarious to me how boastful he is at the beginning of the book about like, I got this sick memory. Everything is like, it's like, I never forget any detail of anything. And then frequently in this book, he's like, I have no idea how I got here, what I'm doing, what that place is. Oh, I forgot which direction to go. It's like very funny.
But I also love that the captain is like, you're so freaky deaky. You gotta cut it out. But I also know it's a little bit chilly outside. So you can keep wearing your cape for now.
Yeah.
But get out of sight, get to the inn.
Yeah.
Get yourself a nice meal and have a sleep.
So he enters this tavern, which I think is not the inn he was supposed to go to. It's like a different place. And he's so tired from walking. This scene is very funny to me because he's just like, he's past caring about anything. He's just so tired. He's like, I don't even want to. I'm just going to sit right here.
Oh, yeah. And the reason he's so tired, he mentions, he starts walking and he's like, I thought I would like leave and then be out of the city and find like the shade of a tree and take a sleep by sundown. But it was all city. He just kept walking and it continued to be city such that he's like, well, I can't stop walking because he knows he's freaky deaky. And so he's so tired because he never stopped because he knew he'd freak people out.
And then he just walks in this tavern, plops himself down, and everybody in the tavern is like, oh, what's that dude doing in here? You talk to him. No, you talk to him. Yeah. And then the innkeeper's like, you can't stay here. You're freaking out the customers. They're all leaving. And he's like, so, okay, well, then just give me a room. I'll go sleep. He's like, there are no rooms at the inn, buddy. Sorry. He's like, fine, I'll sleep right here in the chair. He's like, it's not going to work either.
He also is like the captain internally. He says the captain gave me a piece of advice that if I refuse to leave, there's nothing they're gonna do about it.
Look at the captain of the police is like, what you should do is just be an absolute jerk.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, I'll take dinner.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you give me dinner, you can just hit me with a room and then I will be out of sight, out of mind.
So good. Dude.
The guy like pouts so much about it, but does bring him like a terrible little meal, but still brings him a meal. And then eventually it's like, well, I've got some other patrons that I want to kick out of here. And so you're going to get at least half a bed. It's definitely big enough for both of you. Severian is a giant man, takes him upstairs and is like, hey, you got roommates. You got to get out of here. This is what happens in my inn. If you're not paying your way, whatever it is, you got to get out. You're going to have roommates and that's it. And that's all I'll say. And pieces out. And it's a literal giant as described by Severian lying in the bed that he's going to share the bed with.
It's so awesome. I mean, he's like, so are you cool with sharing a bed with other people? And he's like, I don't care. I'm tired, man. Give me a bed. He's like, all right. And then Severian's like walking up. He's like, I realized that I was the eviction notice for these people. Like, he's like, you just imagine the interior life of the innkeeper going like, all right, this is a bad situation for me. How can I maximize the upside? Oh, I got those other idiots I want to kick out. He'll intimidate them. Like there's an actual giant in the room. And sort of retroactively, we find out how big of freeloaders these dudes are.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how, like, later on I think back and I'm like, oh, I understand why the innkeeper wanted to get rid of these guys, because they literally don't pay for anything.
they don't pay for anything. And he clearly, there's like they're intimidated by people like Severian and this giant guy. So it's not going to do something about it because he is a little whelp of an innkeeper.
Yeah. Well, you feel bad for the guy. He's having a bad week, you know, like these massive humans are entering his establishment and refusing to pay. And he's like, what am I going to do? And literally the cops are advising people to just ignore the person that tells you to leave. You know, it's like, what is this poor dude's going to do? Anyway, so like you said, he finds this actual giant who's so big that pulling his knees up to his chin, he still fills up the entire bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's Andre the Giant over here.
Yeah.
This is the titular Baldanders.
Yeah. When the innkeeper's kind of yelling and he doesn't stir at all, and Severian's like, I guess he's tired. Honestly, I get it. And as he goes to lie down, Baldanders is like, so you sharing a bed with me? You gonna kill me? Because don't.
Just don't. Yeah. And then we have like this bizarre dream sequence that I don't know what it means. But okay. He's riding on this pterodactyl, I want to say.
I got like, the first impression was dragon, but
Yeah.
I'm like, it is just earth. But then I also thought sort of dinosaur, but it's sort of described as like big scaly wings just gliding along the air. But eventually the creature turns and looks, and it's like a hag face with a long beak of an ibis, which is like a heron type bird, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's like some fantastical creature underneath.
Yeah.
Oh no, I guess maybe it is more like a pterodactyl then.
I mean, that's the image that I had in my head. I don't know that it actually is one, but it's some kind of weird reptile bird.
Mm-hmm.
And it drops him into the sea.
But the dream is what he's looking at is like he calls it some kind of like desert of like just seawater, pure water all the way around him. And then he turns to look, and all of the citizens of humanity are being swallowed by night behind him. And then the creature turns to look at him and does a barrel roll and dumps him in the water, which makes him wake up briefly.
Well, he's like sees women, like giant women in the water, which again, throw back to seeing a giant goddess in when he drowned. And these are the wives of a Baya. We don't know what that is.
Is that the initial? Because he hits the water, then he wakes up, then he makes sure that he has terminus est.
Right. Yeah. He's like, I'll go back to my dream now.
Yeah, falls back asleep. And then he's in the water with the wives of Abias.
Yeah.
And they are described as, to me, like freaky sort of mermaid people. They have like sharp teeth and coral eyes, and they're huge. They describe their hands, their fingers are as long as his elbow to his shoulder. So giant hands, giant.
Yeah, their fingers are super long. Yeah, that was a weird detail. And then they like put on a puppet show.
Yeah.
With a little wooden, like a marionette is what I was imagining, like a little Pinocchio kind of deal, or this wooden boy, or the wooden man fights a boy that's armed with a sword.
They have like a little stick guy who's literally like a stick guy.
Yeah. And
then they have a marionette that looks so real it could just be a real little boy. And they have a little battle. But I forget who the victor was. Neither of them? The little boy?
I don't know if we find out. I feel like this is one of those things that in retrospect is going to make more sense. That is maybe foreshadowing something we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to make of any of this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anyway, he wakes up and Baldander's companion is there, Dr. Talos. Dr. Talos is this crazy little dude with frizzy red hair. And turns out, real scam artist.
Unsurprising. Yeah. He's like, get up. And he's like, give me your sword. And he's like, absolutely not. He's like, no. Just give me your sword, though. He's like, I'm not giving you my sword. He's like, I forgot my stick. How am I supposed to wake up Baldanders?
Yeah.
Severian's like, it's not my problem, basically. Just like watches this guy have a little moment. I don't know if he describes what they do before or after Baldanders wakes up, but he does have to wake up Baldanders with a stick.
Yeah.
And so Severian is waiting there, and he's like, I forgot my stick. Dr. Talos goes, gets the stick, comes back, and I guess just beats the crap out of this guy until he wakes up.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, you want to go get breakfast with us? We're going to Denny's. Come on, let's go.
You're going north? Oh my God, Denny's is definitely north.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but Dr. Talos is a scam artist. It's to me, I'm picturing like true snake oil salesman.
Oh yeah.
Like with love potions. And Baldanders is like a circus act. He's a giant. And so they'll go places, and Baldanders will like lift 10 guys around and be like, pretty strong. Well, Dr. Talos sells some stuff, and that's how they sort of scam their way through the world. But apparently they have a broken down stage something or other that they lug around that they get to later, that they're trying to be performers.
That's right. I mean, I love these characters. We meet them for a very small amount of time, but I get very much Vizini and Fezzik vibes from Princess Bride, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, they are here to extract what they can from the world. At least Dr. Talos is. So chapter 16 is called The Rag Shop. We start as they're walking. Severian is like just consumed with grief about Thekla and about leaving the guild and all this stuff. He's still sort of really in his feelings about all that stuff. But he's walking along with Dr. Talos and Baldanders, and they get to this cafe.
Quickly loot a body on the corner.
Yeah, that's right. Quickly loot a body. It's just like setting the stage for what these dudes are all about. Yeah.
But also like there's just a body there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the kind of world we're in. You know what I mean?
I think that it is too. But because we were only in Madison Tower, where, death was matter of fact, or even regretted because they could not do the torturing as long as they wanted to. Right. Just a loose body on the floor seems like weirdly irreverent.
Yeah. Totally. I totally agree. Anyway, they tell Severian that they're trying to raise money. They're going to rebuild their damaged home at the lake. And they're like, hey, you should join our sweet traveling show. Wouldn't it be great? Oh, your sword, your crazy black outfit. People love it. He's like, I don't know. And then there's this amazing sequence where Talos just charms this waitress in the creepiest, but like most roundabout kind of bizarre way. I don't know. I thought it's creepy, but it is, I thought it was expertly expressed, the way he just forces her to pay for their meal. Like he's not going to pay for their meal. And she's like, wow, you got to pay for the meal. And he's like, oh, why don't you join us? You're beautiful. Why don't you come be an actress in our show?
Come with me, baby girl. I'll make you a star.
Yeah, that's right. You got something. You got that special something. And that special something is letting us not pay for our meal.
Yeah. Well, you don't need our money if you're going to be a famous actress. So just come with us.
And by the way, you ate our pastry. So maybe you should pay for it. He'll use any angle,
And then she's like, okay, well, I will go with you. I just have to stop and get my stuff. He's like, you don't have any stuff that matters.
Look at where you work. Stuff.
Look at where you work. You have nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
We got to get you that beautiful stuff because you're beautiful now.
Yeah.
You're an actor. You don't do pedestrian clothes. You do superstar clothes.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Scummy.
Real creepy. But she does it. She goes with them.
She immediately says, well, all right. It's like, she's working on the cafe corner where there's a dead body on the ground. So it's not like she's living large right now.
It's true. It's only upside, I think, It doesn't, I can only imagine things are not going to turn out great for this chick, but, still, it's dark. He feels a little cult leader-y, Dr. Talos,
Yeah.
But really, I thought, interesting scene. And I like how they're like, okay. He's like, okay, we're gonna split up. I'm gonna go this way. The giant's gonna go that way. Which way are you gonna go? Are you gonna meet up with us later? And he's like, definitely meeting up with you later.
He basically is like,
meeting up with you later.
Everybody hands in, meet at the location that we all know about and how to get to on 3. So everyone's like, sure.
Wait, which directions are you going? East, west. All right, I'm going north.
Yeah.
So he's like, I had no intention of ever meeting up with them. Instead, he's like, oh yeah, the captain told me I really need to change how I look. So let me see if I can find there's the shopping quarter. See if I can find something to put over my head so that I don't look so freaky deaky.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's so interesting. This is one of the things that it feels really different about this section of the novel is we have several cutaways into where he's present day, quote unquote, present day,
incredible.
Where he's writing this from. That adds like a little bit of like a little what's happening. It feels introspective and retrospective versus like just the following the story. And so through little breakaways like this, it happens sort of at the start of every introduction of new sort of characters through these chapters. But he's writing, he's like, now from my office, as I'm writing this, I have the hindsight to know that I could have gone into any of these shops and I would be able to luxuriate in these fine goods. And if I had gone to do these things, then I could have had this other path. And so he's thinking presently about what he could have experienced if he'd made different choices in the past, passing all the fine clothiers, etc. But he's like, I had no money, no thoughts. And so I just walked by all of them and went to something that looked like something I could afford, which was basically nothing.
Yeah. I love those stepping out moments. There's one where he literally says, you know what? I'm going to start again.
Yeah.
I just walked away. It's been a long time since I wrote the words you just read. Let me start again. It's such an interesting conceit, narratively to have. And then I think one of them, I either marked it as one to read at the end or I may not have. But the one where he says, like, here I am sitting in the house, whatchamacallit, the autarch's house.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because he says, the first chapter, he's like, I backed into the throne. It's like, is he the new autarch right now, sitting in the autarch's house? The house.
Answer seems like yes.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah,
but yeah, so he meets. There's this girl outside the little shop that he ends up going into, and the way he describes her is so interesting. He's like, he immediately falls in love with her, but she's like, she's not as hot as some of the other girls. She's not like my type or anything, or like she's, it's not even that hot. But I'm she's like so into her. I don't even know why.
She could be pretty if she smiled, but it is so funny to be like, I would do anything for her. It was clear to me that she could have said anything and I would have like followed those instructions. I love her so much. But again, to be clear, not hot.
Like not as hot as like all the other chicks I've ever gotten with. Like yeah. Very, very weird. But he is completely, in her sway. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Instantly, yeah.
Yeah. And there's like this weird, so he goes into the shop to buy something. And the dude who runs the shop, her brother, is like, I'll buy your sword from you. How much you want for it? And he's like, what? What are you talking about?
He walks into the shop and it's like dark. It's early morning. And he's like the shopkeeper. He's like, if I didn't know it was a person, they were so still and so old, like so like sort of horrible looking that if they hadn't said something or moved, I would have just thought they were like a weird mannequin that was in the shop. But then he started moving and talking to me, and I noticed that he had like little black sort of lace or ribbon next to his ears. And as he's saying, I'll buy your sword, blah, 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 he's like, take your mask off if you're going to talk to me.
Yeah.
And so he takes his mask off, and then he recognizes, oh, you look the same as her in certain ways. You must be her brother.
It's so weird though. He's like, I'll give you like $4 for it. He's like, $4? No. He's like, 5. He's like, dude, I'm not selling my sword. It's not for sale. All right, 6. It's my last offer. And he's like, no. He's like, 8. It's such a, there's like this weird desperation about it. And the fact that the last guy asked for his sword too, you know, Dr. Talos asked for his sword. There's like clearly value in it, but it's also weird that he walked into a store. It almost feels like he's being scammed by these people. To me, I mean, the woman outside, she's like, "Oh, hey, I got a guy that will give you exactly what you want. You need a disguise? Yeah, come in. You know."
I think that he is for sure getting scammed by these people.
All right, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure,
especially because he's like, he's in the shop, and you know I forget his name. It's like I got an Aggie. Yeah. And he's like Aggie or something. Yeah. Like the shorter version of that.
They're both very similar to each other. I'm trying to find it, but yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'm not selling you my sword. I need this cloak. Like, this is the thing that I will pay you for. And as they're sort of talking, the main sort of action that happens is some guard looking guy zooms in, like spaceships are going outside, which is very cool. And so this guy zooms up, comes into the shop and puts a seed in Severian's hand.
Here, take the seed. And he's like, well, okay.
And then he like leaves again.
Like, you know what that means, bro?
And he's like, no. And he's like, you have to have a duel with these flowers.
Flower duel. Classic flower duel seed challenge.
Obviously. And then Severian starts thinking like, did the girl outside go like find this guard to come challenge me?
Yeah.
He has like his suspicions about whatever's happening, but he's kind of like, I just need this cloak, man.
He accepts it like really casually. He's like, it's a duel to the death with flowers. He's like, I guess I'm doing that later on my day.
Exactly. That sense of like honor that he has baked in. That's like, well, I've got to do the thing that it says. Is very interesting to his character. But as he's leaving and he's like, oh, Aggie is going to help you find the flower for the duel. As a reader, I'm like, am I reading? Am I understanding this correctly? Yeah. What are you talking about? But then he notices that he still had ribbon on. And the guy behind the counter was still wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Which is like, what? It's just like a weird details.
A little creepy, a little weird. And we're like inside the experience of this just young, horny dude who just... is just like, well, I'll go wherever she wants me to go. I hope. And then like they're walking along. I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, but they're walking along and he's like, I wonder how many dudes she's been with. I hope it's a lot.
I want her to be more experienced than me so she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
It's definitely after, because I think they're walking along. Before they start walking along, she's like, if we're going to get you a flower, we got to go now because, the days are short and the duel is this afternoon. So let's get one of these. Let's get a cab. Yeah. You got money, right? Spend it. You're dead anyway. She's like spending his money instantly.
Yeah. She's like, you look like the kind of dude that would have a huge inheritance, right? You're like the kind of guy. And also you're the kind of guy that, thinks that you're not afraid of death, but really is deep down, but really isn't. And maybe you'd behead me and it would be cool. It's like, oof. She's just, never go to a second location. We've learned this.
But then overall, they're like having a kind of pleasant time. Well, I guess not yet. They get in the cab and Aggie is like, you got money. It's fine. You're dead anyway. So just get in the cab. And then immediately she sees somebody else and
what
she's
do you
like,
need money for? You're about to die in a flower duel. It's like, what logic is that?
You wouldn't be like, I would rather not. He's like, I guess
you're
so.
Right. You're right. I'll just spend all my money because I'm going to be dead in like 6 hours. That's sweet.
So silly. They get in the cab and instantly she sees somebody she recognizes in another cab and it's like, let's race.
It's so
I'm going to bet all the money that this guy has on this race. And they're like, and she goes, it's okay. I know them. They'll race. It's like, well, what if I don't want to race?
It's so weird. It's like, it's the coolest thing. I mean, this sequence is just so bizarre and it's so different from the first few chapters of this book. The first 13 chapters of this book. You're just like in this weird, bizarre, just stumbling into these crazy characters who are throwing him from place to place. And Severian is just like bumbling around, just doing whatever they tell him to do, you know?
Such a whirlwind of activity compared to like the slow pace of just torturing day in and day out.
And he's like contemplative life as a torturer and, you know, thinking about, you know, coming of age and all these things. And now we're in these wild adventures, you know, we've gone down the rabbit hole and we're chasing the white rabbit, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah. And we know from the guy who came and dropped off this dual seed that there's like literal like spaceships flying around in the street. They're in some kind of cart pulled by some kind of animal.
Yeah.
It's
and, like a donkey mule thing.
Yeah, but apparently so fast. And they're just tearing around the streets. So absolutely going so fast. They, like,
pull up to the stoplight and they're like, vroom, vroom. It's like, vroom, vroom, let's do it. You know? And we're just off, you know, off to the races.
And Severian's like, I don't know what voom voom means. The race goes crazy. Aggie is like, take crazy shortcuts. Stab him with your sword. So he has an excuse to tell the cops that he had to do it on pain of death. You know, it has all these reasons for like trying to help her and whoever else is part of this to make a buck and not get in trouble with the cops. Yeah. They end up taking some staircase as like a shortcut. You could picture them in like a bustling city, just like blasting through people.
Oh man, it's a full-on chase sequence from a movie in my head. Yeah. You know, it is chariots chasing through this mad city.
Yeah. And at the top of this, it's I picture the top of this staircase or whatever. There's like a sharp turn. They're going too fast. They don't make it, and they go to smash through this wall, which is actually the wall of a tent.
My favorite part of that, though, is that the chariot driver is just leaps off. He's just I'm out of here. He's like, and he leaps off to save himself, and they go careening down the stairs.
I forgot that it's described by Severian as like, I could see clearly that the wall was like coming upon us, and I realized I could see too clearly because the driver was gone.
He's like, I saw it too well because I was no longer blocked by the driver, because he's like, F this, and he just leaps out.
And that's like another one of those details where it's like, she's clearly scamming. I don't know if it's clearly. I guess I don't know what the scam is.
Yeah.
But at every turn, she's like, yeah, go inside, talk to somebody inside. Yeah, no, this cloak is good. Oh, there's definitely a duel. I'll take you to the duel. No, racing is cool. You're dead anyway. Spend all your money. Give me all your money. The drivers love it when you pretend to stab them because then they have an excuse for the car. Like everything seems like laced with a weird lie.
Yes.
But the world is so strange.
In on it? I don't know.
I don't, based upon the fact that he leapt out, I feel like there's no way. She's just like, no, I got this. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah. Oh, dude, fascinating. Anyway, they get into this car wreck, you know, and they both fly out of this carriage that is, you know, destroyed, and they fly into this huge place, breaking this massive altar. And so they're in this place that evidently is an entire structure built to house one thing, which we will find out shortly. But they like, stumble out of the wreck. He's like, where's my sword? I lost my sword. And then this lady's like, here's your sword. I've got it for you. And it's these weird cult figures.
And apparently it's super dark in there.
Yeah.
So they're in like this, basically, you picture like some kind of freaky chapel.
Church of the Pellerine. And so these are the Pellerinians. And they're like, I have your sword. Did you take our claw? And he's like, what? Yeah, you're in the Cathedral of the Claw. Did you take the claw of the Conciliator? And he's like, no.
I'm sure that's not an important MacGuffin.
Yeah. No, he didn't take it. He's like, let me look at you real close.
Give me your wrists.
All right, I believe you. He didn't take it.
I also love that Aggie was immediately like, oh, right, interesting. That was crazy. We got to go.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
She's like, I think my leg might be broken. This is another like, she's scamming. She's like, you have to carry me out of here because I can't He's like, why do we have to go so fast? And she's like, you can't tell. And he's like, oh, I guess it's on fire. There's like some weirdness of it. Like, is it on fire? That's why it's burning down. That's why we have to go.
There's like hay bales that caught fire. But I'm like, caught fire from, I guess you knocked over but I'm imagining like, you know, like the cheesy movie where everything explodes because we had a car accident. But yeah, these Pellerines, they literally strip Aegea naked.
Yeah. Well, they're like, are you telling the truth? Do you have the claw? And she's like, we should go.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's another thing that really puts the doubt into who she is, because they're like, he's telling the truth. And they're like, what about her? And they're like, yank her clothes off, like immediately don't trust her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they approach the same way. Give me your wrists.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't think I can walk. I think he has to carry me. And they're like, you can walk.
Yeah.
They like immediately call her out the fact that she can walk. There's like, and then even when they strip her naked, she's like, well, this isn't great. she's not like, how dare. She's like, bummer.
She's like, this happened again.
Exactly.
It seems like it. Yeah. Anyway, so they go stumbling out. They're talking about what this claw of the conciliator is, which is not an actual claw, but it seems to be a gem.
Mm-hmm.
And they discuss it as having these incredible magic powers where supposedly it can bring people back from the dead and do, heal the sick and
cure your lust.
Cure your lust. Yeah. She's like, I don't even know why people want their lust cured. You just need to find the person who'll lust you up.
Expend the lust.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Then they're walking through the city. They're walking down. Also interesting. Aggie is talking, and then she's like, "All right, just left turn here. We're gonna go on the staircase. You can see this thing." She's like giving directions while they're chatting, which is just like interesting for the mood and the vibe of them talking. And then they sort of spin into this conversation about religion, where Severian's like, "Tell me about religion. I want to know about religion."
Yeah. And they're on their way to the Botanic Gardens to get themselves this dueling flower, I guess.
The totally legit, not a scam, dueling flower.
So, this is the moment where Severian's like, even I was getting a little suspicious of this chick. And he's like, are you and your brother like running a sweet scam on me? And she's like, you know what? Let's kiss. Kiss right now. I forgot you are attractive to me. Smoochy face.
I forgot. I know that I'm maybe not hot to you, but you like want it though, right? She also kissed him a bunch in the cart.
Yeah.
They like getting bobbled around, and she like knocks into him, and she like holds her against him, and she's like, I hate it when men grab me.
Yeah.
The good thing you did that. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
There's just like, there's oddness.
More oddness too when they arrive at the Botanic Gardens, because the description of this place is really enigmatic and strange.
Well, just before you describe that, there is another sort of introspective Severian moment. They're walking down these big staircases described as like whiter than marble staircase, and some of the steps are so shallow, it's like multiple steps as you get down them. Some of them described as like a ladder, like a deep, steep step, trying to clamber down this thing. And as he looks in the distance, he feels like little pangs of sadness because he can see the towers of where the Torturers Guild is. Yeah. And when he thinks back to his perfect memory to when he'd be playing in Gyol with all the kids and battling his way down the stairs to go jump in the water, he remembers seeing a little spark of white in the distance, barely enough to see that he realizes now the stairs that he's standing on, which I just thought was a lovely little detail.
I agree. Beautiful moment. I'm glad you called that out. So they arrive at the Botanic Gardens. It's this big glass building right on the river, and it's got different biomes. And Severian's like, oh, cool, let's check it out. And she's like, no, we got to go to the Garden of Delectation. And they go inside, and there's a dude, the Botanic Garden employee. He's like, welcome to the Botanic Gardens. What would you like to visit today? and they're like, we want to go to the Gardens of Delectation. He's, no. Have you ever been here before? He's like, no, I haven't. Oh, you got to go to the Garden of Pantomime or the Garden of Antiquities.
Yeah. And this guy is a curator.
Yeah.
So he's like, you ever seen robes like these? And Severian's like, kinda.
Yeah.
But even the fact that Severian wasn't like absolutely the curator is like an interesting.
Yeah. Well, also, what was fascinating is like, we have stuff, you got to go to the Garden of Antiquities because we have stuff that hasn't been around for thousands of years. He's like, have you seen this? Because I haven't been around for thousands of years. He's like, no, didn't we? I saw one of those like 2 weeks ago. He's like, yes, but also they're old. They're stuff has escaped.
Yeah, they had like a roof panel smash, and so the spores got out and started planting themselves.
What a weird thing of like, we haven't seen this in. Oh yeah, I just saw one of those. Yeah, well, of course it escaped contain. It's like, whoa. Weird.
It's weird. Also, it made me think of Severian's dream said something about purple. I think it was like purple water was the thing that was sort of covering everything that he was looking at. But Agia says, I saw one of your special purple creepers out there. And he's like, yeah. The spores got out. We escaped containment. But my brain immediately was like, purple creepers. And he mentions that there's none of its natural enemies exist anymore. So it's going to have a fine time out there. That made me be
it's like
purple covering everything.
Disturbing. And this whole thing has all of this, these weird episodic adventures we have with these bizarre people, all of it has this surreal dreamlike quality to it. Like all of these sections. I mean, actual dreams, but even this, we're in this place where, it's described as having eerily authentic interior, like sunsets and jungles and all these things that couldn't exist indoors, but it's replicated perfectly, like the skyline and the sunrise and all that stuff.
Agia it's interesting. It's one of those moments where I'm like, I do feel like she's scamming him, but if she were really scamming him, why would she warn him about how disturbing people find it if they've never been there, about how the rooms seem to widen and get larger and larger as you go into them in an impossible way?
Yeah.
Is that just because she's trying to get him to go to the delectation room? Or why? Why would she divulge that if she was just trying to confuse and get in this guy's head? But
and he does get confused. He goes in and he kind of loses track of time and space, and he's kind of lost. And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty common for people who are
dum-dums."
I can't remember what she says, but what was the word you used?
It's just like weak-minded.
Yeah,
and each room will affect like different types of people differently,
right,
to try and pull them in and to like be part of the natural escape.
Yeah. And he's like, the Father Aenir made it that way. Like the Autarch wanted each of these rooms to be a test or something.
Yeah.
Where, you are challenging and you're, susceptible to that room, but the other rooms you won't be.
But it also made me be like, it's so surreal because he describes walking in. They're like, she keeps going, we got to go to the delectation room.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, I'm going to look around. And he sees this desert one. And they're like, don't worry about the desert one. It's basically empty. And he walks in and he sees like this desert landscape. And he sees, desert plants with big thorns. And then they step out and describe like stepping out with sand, spilling sand into the hallway. And he's like, anyway, that was crazy. And she's like, we got to go.
He's like, you know how long you were in there?
You were in there for hours. It's the afternoon now. But is that true?
I mean, I took it as true, but all of this, like I said, has this.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's all very surreal. And then they go to this jungle area, and she's like, oh, yeah, this is a big loop. We'll just keep following the path. We'll get back to where we need to go.
Yeah. But he's sort of, it's one of those moments that it's like Severian being like, I'm crazy. And then never really mentioning that again, really explicitly, is one of those things that just adds this question mark to his narration of, is she just scamming him and saying that's the thing? Because he's like, well, I'm checking out other rooms. And she's like, well, it's fine because you're just not going to be affected by those now. Is that true? Is that another part of the scam to like hurry him along, to get him to go other places. But they walk into this jungle room and the door, disappears behind them. I'm picturing like how the holodeck door goes and then fades out.
Totally. Yeah, but doesn't he describe it? He's like, it's kind of like a magic eye puzzle. He's like, have you ever been in one of those rooms where you like look at it from one direction and it's a different picture when you look at it from another direction? He's like, that's how that door worked.
Yeah. But he's also like, what happened to it? He also is like kind of freaking out a bit. And she's like, it's a loop, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's just very strange and interesting.
So strange. It's such a departure from, the early sections of the book are obviously a very strange science fiction world, but grounded in kind of
medieval,
a reality and rules. Yeah. Anyway, so chapter 20 is called Father Anier's Mirrors. So they're inside the jungle garden and they follow this path and they hear a saber-toothed tiger roar. And he's like, are you worried about the tiger? She's like, no, don't worry about the tiger. No, don't worry about the tiger. It's like, it's so weird. And and Severian is like, oh, there's this sweet story that I heard. You want to hear it? She's like, not really. He's like, I'll tell it to myself.
I just love that. I love that because she says, I guess so. She's like, she doesn't say like straight up no, but because she's not super enthusiastic, it kind of cuts into him just telling the story. And then we get through a bit of the story and then it cuts back out of him telling the story to him and needing to help her through some dense jungle and her being like, why are you like muttering to yourself? You're just talking to yourself. Yeah. And that's where he's like, well, you didn't seem like you wanted to hear it, but I still did. So
I like hearing stories even when I'm telling them. And this is one of my favorites. I'm just going to tell it to me. And it's a story that Thecla told him about when she was young and she had this friend, Domnina, and they would play between two mirrors in the House Absolute. That's what it's called. House Absolute.
Absolute. I
couldn't remember it either.
Get that word, yeah.
House Absolute, where the autarch lives. This one time they're playing, like looking at mirrors because they're like, we're pretty girls and we like looking at ourselves in the mirror. And Father Anier shows up. He's like, hey, did you see anything else in the mirror besides yourself? And they're like, oh yeah, definitely. He comes up and weird presence in the back. Didn't think to mention it.
He kind of says it like it's like, oh, there's like an old guy, and because they're like looking at themselves in the mirror, being like, we're hot, you're hot, I'm hot, you're hot, not hot. As he like comes. It's
like the first selfies of like
exactly. It's sort of like, you know what they say about looking between mirrors like that. There's sometimes a little goblin might appear, and it sort of said like a little. Like a spooky story for kids. And, Thecla in this memory is like, you're so silly, old man. And the other one's like, yeah, I think I saw him actually. Like a little, he's like, great, you have to come talk to me now. It's like, what do you mean this weird little, it's like being like, oh, the leprechaun will get you. And somebody being like, ain't no leprechauns. And somebody being like, oh, you mean Bill?
Yeah. He shows up in the mirror sometimes when I look.
It's very odd. There's so many little odd, interesting things.
Yeah. And so Father Anier's like, Domnina, you got to come to my chambers. And she's scared, as anybody would be, because the creepy old man is like, you got to come to my bedroom. And she gets escorted to this octagonal room with mirrors on all sides. I was imagining like the top of a lighthouse. Have you ever been to the top of a lighthouse where the light is and it's got mirrors on all it? That's what I was imagining. And there's a lamp burning in the center like a lighthouse. And he's like, hey, so let me describe quantum physics to you real quick.
Yeah. It is like, it is so tense. It goes from, it's tense because it is like old weird guy summoning Domnina. Domnina goes home and is like, he's not actually going to make me like go to his house, but he like summons her, like gets her in a carriage, brings her over. And even just that tension of like a human thing of like old guy, young, beautiful girls, like what's going to happen here? And then it's the eerie tension of her walking into this weird space and describing it. The light is like brighter than bright in the middle of this room. And it's hard to even understand what's happening. And then she realizes the door is locked behind her. And you're like, okay, another bit of tension. There's a room in the room, but no, that's like another sort of mirrored space that they go in. And what I picture them in is a much more enclosed space that is like mirrors on mirrors on mirrors, reflecting inwards. And then he describes some kind of thing that is, I'm not going to say it right. Maybe it is just quantum physics, something like faster than light travel.
Yeah.
Talking about mirror images, realizing that rather than like hitting and colliding with each other when you hit the plane of the mirror, you could switch places with them and be like, and from that way travel from one point to the other point of wherever it was in space. But then if you can reflect something in the mirror that didn't exist elsewhere, it will summon something.
Yeah, it has to. You can't have a reflection of nothing, so it has to exist. It's this wild sci-fi notion.
Yeah.
That's sort of grounded in something akin to actual physics, actual like, Einstein's relativity kind of.
Yeah.
Nothing can go faster than light.
Yeah. Matter can't be created or destroys. It just changes. It's like all sort of baked into those same ideas.
The other thing, we totally forgot to mention the other story that he like stops his Severian stops the tale and is like, I got to tell you about Ymir and this enigmatic story about Ymir, which is like, I didn't even get any of that.
Which I think Ymir is the autarch's name is what I got from that. Because he was like,
I did
my
not get
predecessor, like he's like, for example, my predecessor, Ymir. And then he tells this side story where it's the story was that was told about the autarch was he was sitting under a tree and then what walked by him was some soldiers and then a cool guy and then a beautiful lady and then a dog. And once the dog passed, he laughed and followed. And then sort of the theology of why would the guy choose to follow the dog. And it's like,
it's like a story about the Buddha almost. Yeah.
It's like, and like how people would interpret this in a scholarly way. And these are sort of the things that Tekla was teaching him about these things, but he's talking about it from where he currently is. And so rather than him being like, Tekla told me about Ymir, the autarch doing blah, blah, blah. He says, my predecessors.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, so this, this wild tale about Domnina, basically the thrust of it that I got is that they literally summon like this fish man. There's like a fish creature in the mirror that they summon.
What I got from it is that if they the light was reflecting so much in such a way that the light looked like a fish in the air.
Oh, I thought it was an actual creature that they summoned.
I didn't get to the part where it was an actual creature, but because Father Nier was like, they're talking about it. And he's sort of describing these physics ? About what's happening. And then he's like, so if we kept this going, it would summon something. And so we got to get out of here because we don't want to summon something. And so the light in the air, he even describes it as like we could drop a lure and attract a fish. So I don't think it is, I don't think they summon a fish man. I think it's this dancing light in the air that is refracted a bajillion times and would eventually become something that is greater than itself, that it would have to bring something into existence.
Very enigmatic, very strange. But he's he's like, sweet story. There's a guy over there at the hut. Can we pay attention to the hut man?
Yeah.
So that's how it ends. That's how the chapter ends. Is they look at this man who's standing in front of a hut and he sees them and like skedaddles.
Like,
yeah.
Is the octagonal room maybe like the inside of an engine, like the inside of a thruster?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's told as like a wizard, bringing them into a magic place, but I think it might just be technology. I do think that it might just be, he's, Father Aeneas is just Aenir, is just a scientist, but
my brain is like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying any sufficiently advanced, technology is indistinguishable from magic type deal.
So I was like, maybe this is like, the equivalent of I'm always trying to draw lines. I'm like, is this like the warp core engine that they're just looking at and seeing like the startup sequence this is how they previously did spacefaring and blah, 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 blah. But they clearly have spaceships that work. They know what engines are. Even in the Madison Tower, they were like, below the engine rooms and blah, blah, blah. That's like a old spaceship. Like everything, people have an idea of what these spaces are. And you would expect that Father Anir knows what it is. It wouldn't be like, isn't this a crazy little light show thing? It's, I want to, it's the
all of these
delightful puzzle on my mind.
Yeah. This is not the type I much prefer the earlier chapters of the novel to these ones, in that I just feel kind of untethered. I don't know what is important and what's not important. He's kind of all over the place on this stuff, and I have no clear sense of through line, but I'm still very much enjoying this romp. It has really become a romp, like this journey. As soon as he stepped out of his, stepped away from the life that he has known, it has become just this kind of pinball through all this stuff. And I just don't know what to make of it yet.
Yeah. I like it because it feels like the chaos you'd feel having been only in one place forever. And like we're all going through culture shock with Severian.
Yeah.
The parts that are like mysterious and strange, the mystery of whether or not that is Severian's insanity. Is he actually insane? Is he not? I don't know. I think is an intriguing mystery. And even with the hut appearing at the very end, it's sort of described as they're in this dark part of the jungle, and the hut appears to like appear out of nowhere with a guy in it. Severian adjusts his cloak to like hide the Philogene. Yeah. And Aggie is like, oh, you don't have to do that here. We're in the jungle. And he's like, okay. And then he takes the cloak off, and the guy's like, and immediately like pieces out. So I wonder if this is what we're in for the rest of the book, of being like, we're deciphering his mind, and then what is this world actually, or if this is just the chapters of culture shock that we're experiencing, because so too is Severian.
And he's also, just this kid. He just feels like this kid who's like away from home for the first time, and just doesn't know who to trust and doesn't know what to do and doesn't, and he's like, oh, pretty lady. And, there's just, it's,
There is another thing that he says that is sort of like beautiful and sad, where I think it's in this chapter where he talks about how it's not that he thought it would be easy, but he thought it was like simple, of like, yeah, you can just go. I got kicked out of the tower, and so I will go to Thrax because that was what I told to do. And I just have to go there. Yeah. And realizing that the act of just getting there is not, it's like simple in its idea, but the ability to do it is to some degree out of his control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that was like a beautiful sort of notion of, even if we like set a target that seems like, yeah, you could draw the line on the map to get there. It's like, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I have 2 quote polls for this week. One is relatively short, but one is longer.
All right. You hit it. I think I have 3 maybe.
All right. I'll start with my short one. I just love this turn of phrase. This is about the jungle gardens. I'll do these are out of order, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. He said, this is one of those ones where we pull away from the story and go to his present. Even now, as I sit at my writing table in the house absolute, some distant noise brings back to my ears the screams of the magenta-breasted, cyanus-backed parrot that flapped from tree to tree, watching us with white-rimmed and disapproving eyes, though this is no doubt because my mind was already turned to that haunted place. Through its screaming, a new sound, a new voice, came from some red world still unconquered by thought. It's just that phrase, a red world still unconquered by thought. What a turn of phrase that is. I love it. But like, he's like, I thought about the weird parrot that I saw. That's weird. I guess because I'm just sitting here writing about those old times. Why am I thinking about that weird parrot? I don't know. It's just like, it's so non sequitur, kind of the way memory works. It's just, I thought it was so cool.
Yeah. I have 2 quotes that are not quite back to back, but almost sort of making one longer quote. And it is him getting and describing the sword and then leaving Madigan Tower. It was in my hands before I fully understood what he gave me. The sheath of sable manskin covered it nearly to the pommel. I drew it off. It was soft as glove leather, and beheld the sword herself. I shall not bore you with the catalogue of her virtues and beauties. You would have to see her and hold her to judge her justly. Her bitter blade was an ell in length, straight and square-pointed as such a sword should be. Man edge and woman edge could part a hair to within a span of the guard, which was of thick silver with a carven head at either end. Her grip was onyx bound with silver bands, 2 spans long and terminated with an opal. Art had been lavished upon her, but it is the function of art to render attractive and significant those things that without it would not be so, and so art had nothing to give her. The words terminus est had been engraved upon her blade in curious and beautiful letters, and I had learned enough of ancient languages since leaving the atrium of time to know that they meant, this is the line of division.
So good. I love that. I almost picked that one as well. Just that the notion of, art is to pretty stuff up. I just didn't need that. It doesn't, there's nothing art can do.
It was there. Didn't matter.
Didn't matter. Ugh. It was already
so romantic.
Striking.
Yeah. And then him leaving the city. I took the whetstone from its pocket in the sheath and dropped it into my, sabretash?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think it is sabretash.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
I mean, it's like pouch. Like it's an actual,
It's one of the ones where like, oh, there's a definition here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Folded the letter he had given me to the Archon of Thrax, wrapped it in a scrap of oiled silk and committed it to the sword's care. Then I took my leave of him. With the broad blade slung behind my left shoulder, I made my way through the corpse door and out into the windy garden of the necropolis. The sentry at the lowest gate nearest the river allowed me to pass without challenge, though with many a strange look, and I threaded the narrow streets to the waterway that runs with Gil. Now I must write something that still shames me. Even after all that has occurred, the watches of that afternoon were the happiest of my life. All my old hatred of the guild had vanished, and my love for it, for Master Palemon, my brothers, and even the apprentices, my love for its lore and usages, my love which had never wholly died, was all that remained. I was leaving all those things I loved, after having disgraced them utterly. I should have wept. I did not. Something in me soared, and when the wind whipped my cloak out behind me like wings, I felt I might have flown. We are forbidden to smile in the presence of any but our masters, brothers, clients, and apprentices. I did not wish to wear my mask, but I had to pull up my hood and bow my head lest the passerby see my face. Wrongly, I thought I would perish on the way. Wrongly, I thought that I should never return to the citadel and our tower. But wrongly, too, I believed that there were many more such days to come. And I smiled.
It's so beautiful. Can't let anybody see a smile, I shouldn't be smiling. And how like with the benefit of hindsight, he's like, I was smiling because I was just wrong about all these things. Crazy. So good.
And also smiling and like the fact that it's written from the current day as being like, I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
I feel such guilt because I was so happy and I smiled for all these reasons. And I really thought that it would be like that forever. Oh,
I was a dumb kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the last one for me. This is his description of the shopkeeper's sister. This I just think is so great. Of me, it might be asked why I accepted the shopkeeper's sister as my companion. I, who in all my life had no true companion, and who, reading only of the shopkeeper's sister, would understand why I remained with her after what is, at this point in my own story, about to happen. No one, surely. I have said that I cannot explain my desire for her, and it is true. I loved her with a love thirsty and desperate. I felt that we two might commit some act so atrocious that the world, seeing us, would find it irresistible. No intellect is needed to see those figures who wait beyond the void of death. Every child is aware of them. blazing with glories dark or bright, wrapped in authority older than the universe. They are the stuff of our earliest dreams, as of our dying visions. Rightly, we feel our lives guided by them, and rightly, too, we feel how little we matter to them, the builders of the unimaginable, the fighters of wars beyond the totality of existence. The difficulty lies in learning that we ourselves encompass forces equally great. We say, I will, and I will not, and imagine ourselves, though we obey the orders of some prosaic person every day, our own masters, when the truth is that our masters are sleeping. One wakes within us, and we are ridden like beasts, though the rider is but some hitherto unguessed part of ourselves.
I love that. I love that.
Why do I do what I do? I don't know. Some part of me wakes up and is like, do that. Pretty beautiful, beautiful prose.
I have one last quote. That is them getting in the car thing and Severian just sort of thinking about stories that he read in his book. The sun was now just above the tallest spires, and the flooding light that turned the dusty pavement to red gold made me feel philosophical. In the brown book in my sabretash, there was the tale of an angel, perhaps actually one of the winged women warriors who are said to serve the autarch, who, coming to Earth on some petty mission or another, was struck by a child's arrow and died. With her gleaming robes all dyed by her heart's blood, even as the boulevards were stained by the expiring life of the sun, she encountered Gabriel himself. His sword blazed in one hand, his great two-headed axe swung in the other, and across his back, suspended on the rainbow, hung the very battle horn of heaven. "Where wend you, little one?" asked Gabriel, "with your breast more scarlet than the robin's?" "I am killed," the angel said, "and I return to merge my substance once more with the Pancreator." "Do not be absurd. You are an angel, a pure spirit, and cannot die." "But I am dead," said the angel, "nevertheless. You have observed the wasting of my blood. Do you not observe also that it no longer issues in straining spurtings, but only seeps sluggishly? Note the pallor of my countenance. Is it not the touch of an angel warm and bright? Take my hand and you will imagine you hold a horror new dragged from some stagnant pool. Taste my breath. Is it not fetid, foul, and niderous?" Gabriel answered nothing. And at last the angel said, "Brother and better, even if I have not convinced you with all my proofs, I pray you stand aside. I would rid the universe of my presence." "I am convinced indeed," Gabriel said, stepping from the other's way. "It is only that I was thinking that had I known we might perish, I would not at all times have been so bold."
I'm glad you read that because we totally forgot to talk about that Gabriel story he tells. Yeah. So interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. And the other thing I like about these chapters that I forgot to mention is there's like more than once, 2 or 3 times, where he starts like doing this list of things, and they're all these archaic words.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like this, and other stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, other stuff like this, stuff I've never heard of in my life.
Yeah, it'll be like all the words, and then it'll be like, and other common things.
Yeah, and I don't have to tell you, just that stuff. It's so great.
It's really, really good.
I'm enjoying it very much.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Just after this, Agia says, "I feel like the archangel in this story. If I had known I would spend my life so easily and so soon, I would probably not have done it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, this notion of like, oh, you're mortal? You can die? Yeah.
Bummer, dude.
Bummer. Yeah, bummer, angel. Good stuff. All right. Well, I think we got 6 more chapters next week. Is this the end of the book?
It's not the end of the book. There's 2 more.
Oh, 2 more times.
I can get it. Yeah. You want to mention non-spoiler topics while I pull it up?
Yes, please. we're in need of new non-spoiler topics. So please do send them to us, dlcfeedback@gmail.com. We'd love to get questions, comments, whatever, any topic you'd like to bring up. Send it to us, dlcfeedback@gmail.com.
Next week, chapters 21 through 27,
Woo-hoo!
our penultimate episode for Shadow of the Torturer.
Very, very cool. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Hope you have a great week and hope you get a chance to dance.
When the world's too dark of a place to be, and you need an escape from reality, open up those pages, a sci-fi or fantasy, whatever genre you please. And join a book club, 'cause you won't read it on your own. Join a book club, so you'll be held accountable. It's just a means to an end, but you're doing it with your